Alright guys, you know me, and if you've watched this channel long enough, you know that before I can do any real drawing, sketching, doodling with new toys, I have to do some swatching. So I thought this Bristol had a rough surface. It doesn't, it's smooth, so this is actually not going to work. So I think I will end up using Canson XL watercolor paper, and I think I actually picked this pad up from Walmart, and I am going to do the majority of my swatching using Q-tips, and I should probably, in fact, go grab some more. And I am going to do this challenge a little bit differently. I'm actually going to sketch the design in regular pencil. I know that's cheating. But then I'm going to do color it and then tighten the line art with these, because I want to see if you can actually make something, or if I can actually make something that works as a standalone piece of art with makeup supplies. Like I said, these are from Dollar Tree. They came with kind of a frightening list of caveats and health concerns, which is always what you want to see when you're buying makeup. Fortunately, it's not makeup to wear. So I'm going to start by swatching the LA Colors Eyeshadow Nude Palette. This palette is extremely crumbly, both in the palette itself and on the paper. As you guys can see, I got some fallout here. And some of the colors are actually very similar, so it's going to be interesting to see. I think when I do this project, I'm going to not only use Q-tips, which are actually a little harder than I thought they would be, but I'm also going to use the blending tools, and I also picked up a brush for this. So next, I'm going to swatch the LA Colors eyeshadow palette. So, just like the eyeshadow nude palette, this smaller 6-color palette is also very crumbly and very, sort of like working with pastels. These kind of remind me of working with pan pastels. So I'm hoping that some of the techniques that I've used to do that might be beneficial with these materials. Next up is the first of the 2 Color Mates eyeshadow palettes, and they're very small palettes that also come with a blender brush. And actually, really like these little palettes. That's really a neat little thing. And as with the other 2 palettes, I swatch this palette in the same order it is in the palette itself. And it is also a very chalky, powdery palette. And I'm starting to wonder how I'm going to be able to cover larger areas. I really hope this brush helps me do that. Next up is the second of the 2 Color Mates eyeshadow palettes. And in a quote-unquote shocking twist of just irony, actually, these inexpensive palettes from Dollar Tree, very bright colors in the palette, really attractive, really appealing, and hey, it's only $1. So similar to those Artist Loft watercolors I'm always telling y'all not to buy. Yeah, just like those, they are not nearly so brilliant on the paper. And also, just like those, they're full of talc. Then I picked up this LA Colors Color Craze nail polish with hardeners, because I didn't want to do any, and I might regret that. I might end up going back and seeing what I can find in like concealer or base, something with a little more coverage power, because some of these eyeshadow palettes, it just seems like it's going to take forever to do. And this has like barely any sparkle in it at all. I mean, I thought from the bottle it would have a lot more. So, and another concern I have is putting that over the makeup itself, because it is so powdery and it doesn't want to adhere to the paper. I have a feeling it's going to turn into a muddy mess. Now, I'm actually, as you can tell from the carpet, that I am visiting family right now. So I'm sure I could borrow a better nail polish color to use as an undercoat and then put this on top of it, because there's just like no real color there at all. Then finally, I got a 2-pack. Let's see. It is Wet n Wild Color Icon, and it is an eyeliner pencil, I believe, and I picked up black. Oh, that's very soft. That's going to be kind of fun, actually. Very, very soft. And then I also got the same thing, smaller copper. Ooh, yeah, those are nice actually. Kind of want to go and get some more of those and use them sort of like color pencils. So depending, I may end up back at Dollar Tree with more supplies. The last thing I picked up is a small Wet n Wild eyebrow crease or eye crease. And I thought I could use this to pick up a larger amount of color and do kind of fills, and we'll see how that goes. I'm not yet ready to test it because I'm not yet prepared to be able to clean it every time. So those are the swatches, and now that I'm looking at the swatches, I kind of feel like there might be some things I am missing, and I probably picked up too many eyeshadows because I wanted a lot of color. And what inspired this is I was at another Dollar Tree, because I live at Dollar Tree, and they had this little like wallet size 20 color set, so it was like the size of a credit card, all these teeny tiny pots, and I was like, I've always kind of avoided doing the makeup challenge because I've complained in the past about people who market their art supplies to look like makeup, so I didn't want to contribute to that. But I am a weak woman, and I don't know. I've also used like pan pastels and stuff where the form factor is very similar to makeup, but it's not trying to look like makeup, and it handles better because of that form factor. So I was also curious how inexpensive makeups might handle for this sort of project. Because I also want art. I mean, obviously makeup is an art, but I want creating 2D art to be as accessible as possible. And hey, if all you've got is makeup, and if you're great with makeup, then this, you know, it could be a thing, a way to express yourself on paper, just like you would on your face, I guess. So I did want to give it a try, especially if it meant I didn't have to spend an arm and a leg to do so. Hey guys, so it is a brand new day. A couple days have actually passed. I have augmented my collection both by digging through my own makeup stash, but don't worry, it's not anything super expensive, and it's mostly stuff from Walmart, if we're being so like hard candy stuff, really cheap stuff. There is one palette from TJ Maxx or Marshalls, which might be a little bit nicer, but I still didn't break the bank, and that's stuff that I owned. And I also hit up Dollar Tree again, and I picked up a cream base color, which actually has really nice coverage for this, and then a pressed powder. I also, with some of these, they come with applicators. So I have some other types of applicators that I can use. I picked up another brush, and then at Dollar Tree, I picked up a couple more eyebrow or brow pencils. Maybe this is it. These two are it. I picked up two more eyebrow, well, one's an eyeliner and one's an eyebrow pencil. And something that I thought was really interesting is that these makeup pencils are very soft and buttery, and even as an artist, I think they're kind of like, I really enjoyed working with them just for the swatches. So I'm looking forward to working with them on this piece, and who knows, I may have discovered like some new media for me. I am going to be using a couple of makeup brushes I picked up from Dollar Tree, the applicators that come in the sets, and oh, I also grabbed a couple of, these are e.l.f. lip stains. These are from my personal collection, but they actually work a lot like markers because they're very similar to markers, so I thought those would be kind of fun too. I'm also going to be using Q-tips. I'm going to grab some cotton balls. I picked up a couple of these mini blending things from Walmart. I think I paid like $3 for both of them. I thought they would be also good for coverage. And when I do this, I really want to try and give it the best shot I can. So I'm going to use all the tips and tricks I've learned from working with actual art supplies, from working with things like pan pastels, and really try to actually make this work. So this is the piece. that I'm going to be illustrating today. It's nothing super complicated because I really wanted to focus on figuring out how to use these materials to the best advantage. So I hope you guys will enjoy, and I hope this is amusing and entertaining to you, because just thinking about it has been amusing and entertaining for me. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get this boat on the show. This show on the boat and this boat on the road. I have here a cup of water, just in case. I have been forewarned and foretold that using water with some of these that didn't swatch super well brings out more intense color. So I am prepared to do that. I do need to go grab probably some paper towels and also grab those cotton swabs, since I used up my cotton swabs swatching last night. So other than the paper towels, I believe everything we are using today does indeed count as a makeup supply. And I'm going to start, I think, by doing maybe something light in the background, maybe with some of these blues I've got over here, because I have a lot of palettes. So I have a lot I can kind of choose from. Just getting these open, and I'm kind of excited because having done some, having used pan pastels, these really feel maybe a little easier to approach, a little more familiar. So hopefully we can do something interesting and maybe even half decent. And I penciled this illustration on watercolor paper, as you can see underneath it. And let's see, so none of these are really big enough for this little brush. I could try mixing some, but I guess I will start out maybe with this, the angled shader. And I'll pick up maybe this really nice turquoise blue and just start working it into the background like that. So it seems like applying color to the background was actually pretty difficult. Most of it wanted to stay on the brush, and I was able to brush a lot of it off onto my paper towel, but I can't actually get it really to stick to the paper. Now this has a lot of blue in it, and I can't really switch over to a skin tone with this much blue on my brush. So I feel like this is probably a little big for what I want to do, but I'm going to start with it anyway, I guess. And I'm going to go ahead and use some Color Mates. This is, again, from Dollar Tree, compact powder. It comes with the saddest foam applicator I've seen. And I'm going to try not to get any of the powder, because that's another problem I'm having, is a lot of the powder is so loose and powdery, it wants to get everywhere. So I'm going to try, I think I'm somewhat successful at least, to apply a base layer of just a very faint layer of this sort of skin tony beige. That actually applied a little easier than the blue does. And those are all the same brand. And I'm already blowing away the excess dust as much as possible. That is definitely, control is definitely one of the big problems for a makeup challenge already. All right, and I'm going to clean as much as I can out of that brush. I have a feeling this is going to end up taking a really long time because I'm going to need to clean all the makeup out of these brushes before I can use them for other colors. I really didn't want to buy a bunch of different colors. So next, I'm going to switch over to one of these small foam. I'm going to use one of these small egg-shaped makeup applicators and hopefully get a more directed application from that beige color. And I'll try to zoom in for you guys so you can see, so we can both see if that's going to help. It does seem to be a little bit darker and definitely a bit more concentrated. I was concerned that it would smear the graphite. I used a fairly hard graphite to prevent smearing as much as possible, but since I want to go over my line art with the eye pencils, I don't really want to go ahead and ink this. Otherwise, I wouldn't really worry about smearing at all. And I am just trying to darken up the color on her skin, at least in certain areas. This is definitely a better tool, even though I am getting a little out of the lines there in the hair. This is definitely a better tool than the brushes. We also have to keep in mind with this sort of a challenge that most of these makeups, they're not stage makeup, they're not pan makeups, they're not really designed for opaque applications. All right, and then I'm going to try, yeah, perfect. You can actually lift up some of the excess makeup from the base. From the paper if you use the base of one of these blending things. And I'm getting that cheap eyeshadow all over my hands, unfortunately. Just go ahead and wipe some of that excess off. And then I'm going to go in now with this darker stuff. This is a cream-based makeup. And left some of that cotton pad from yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and grab some with this little sponge applicator. And hopefully, originally I wanted to avoid cream bases because I thought since they have oils in them that it might have an adverse effect on the paper. But already, there's two big challenges I'm finding with this challenge. Ooh, the cream base is, ugh. We gotta try something maybe a little more direct, because this isn't one that you can pick up. But two of the big challenges are getting your makeup to adhere to the paper, and then we're using makeup stuff for this, so that is part of the problem. And I tried to draw fairly large for how I normally work a lot smaller than this, as you guys know. So I tried to draw a fairly large face to give me room to apply makeup without it being too difficult with all these tiny utensils. But unfortunately, it seems like two of the big difficulties are scale, so finding supplies that are going to be small enough to fit into the tight corners, and then adherence is also an issue. And the cream makeup adheres to the paper a lot better, but I'm having a lot of sort of application issues. And it does want to get cakey and gunky, so I'm also trying to be careful about how I blend out. I'm going to use the lighter skin tone color to do some of the blending, but as you guys can see, it is already caking up on the paper. And I don't want to put too much on the lips, and I'm trying to blend it out here on the face, but I'm having a lot of difficulty with that, so I think I'm going to have to go back in to the lighter powder and I guess kind of fake blend that out, just soften that transition. But it definitely wants to cake up and get really gross. So maybe my mistake was using that cream-based powder already, because look, that looks disgusting. And it's also kind of hard to clean it out. I mean, I know how to clean these things out. It's just that given the tighter time constraints of doing something like this, you don't want to spend a week because you had to clean your tools out between layers. Okay, so let's try putting some of this lighter powder on top. And then another issue might have been because I went for really, really, really cheap supplies. And I'm just going to try and lighten this out and blend this out. And I don't know why, but I have other things I could have used as skin tones. I don't know why I went so heavy with the cream. I guess I thought I could like layer it the way we would with pastels. And as you guys can see, I am getting a lot of that cheap blue on my hands. It's almost like I'm getting more on my hands than I'm getting on the paper. Maybe I could have or should have gone and sprayed hairspray on this in between. I don't really know. Oh, this is already rough. This is so bad. And then I'm also getting, there's a lot of yelling in the background, and I definitely apologize for that. I'm trying to talk over it so you guys don't have to listen to it. But it's definitely kind of frustrating and upsetting. So, just trying to get this kind of blended out and not really being successful at it. Maybe we can switch tools. Okay, so what do I have? What do I have? I picked up this, and I'm trying to avoid shimmer for right now. So I have this palette here, and there are a lot of shimmery tones in them, unfortunately. Maybe I can actually kind of, since the Q-tips, oh yeah, I can pick up some of the excess with Q-tips. Kind of leaves a hole, but it's like, what looks worse, the hole or the muddiness that we're getting? So I'm using a Q-tip to just go ahead and try to pick up some of the cream-based makeup that really got overly caked on. Kind of soften that. And then I think I'm finally going to get one of my actual applicators dirty. We'll see how this works. And try with this color here. I'm not really sure if it's a good in-between. We're going to find out. Oh, these are really fun applicators, really poorly made. And then while I was at Dollar Tree the other day picking up additional supplies, I did look to see if there were maybe, oh, this is just scraping at the surface. I looked to see if there were any better applicators. I really couldn't find anything too much better. But that's definitely, your mileage may vary, because some Dollar Trees are pretty nice and some are pretty crummy. Ugh, man. I wish I could scrap it, but I must persist. Okay, that's just not cutting it. Maybe I can do this better with a Q-tip. We'll find out. Man. And now the room has kind of like that makeup-y smell. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just, to me, it's like a really distinctive smell from my childhood. Okay, maybe I should leave that alone. and try to move over here to a darker color. Also want to do some blush. I have a few different colors I can use for blush. I can use this, or I can use this pink. And then I also have, and these are all very shimmery, so that's kind of why I've been avoiding these sort of metallics. And unfortunately, the brush that I would want to use is dirty, and all these applicators are pretty terrible. So I am not sure what my solution is. I guess I'll use the purple of the two applicators I got. I got a pink, which is very soft, and then a purple, which is firmer. You guys can tell how much makeup I wear. And I just feel super lost with this. So I'm going to grab some of this and maybe some of that. I don't know. Mix the two somehow? Magic? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And just kind of start dabbing it in there.
Working.
And maybe try to pick up some of the extra using the other side. At least these little blender applicators are actually pretty decent. Although, considering how muddy this looks on paper, I can only really imagine how muddy these makeups look on human skin. At least we can use the other side of the blender to clean up everything but the cream-based stuff. The cream-based stuff is really stubborn. Oh yeah, she looks really terrible. Oh well, at least this is one of those challenges I went into where I was like, this is going to be hard. This is going to look really bad. And I was okay with that, because that is just part of the point. I don't know what I want to use or do. Now, I was warned, rather. I'm going to see what I can dig out of my actual makeup case, because I want something that is a little angled. Does that count as cheating if I grab one of my makeup brushes? I don't know. Find out together. Okay. So, clean off a little bit. We'll see. And then I guess I want to go into this maybe? I don't really know. And kind of make a little bit of a paste with it, just right here in the palette. I'm sure there's someone cringing. And then what? Oh yes, just make a gross mess. Oh yeah, that's working. No, it's not. It's not working. Not working at all. Not what I thought. In fact, it's like lifting and making a paste out of the other makeup. So that's like a fun thing. Maybe I should have gone. Maybe I should go with a darker color. Maybe I will go with a darker color. Ugh. Oh, I don't know. Hold my hand, guys. I'm scared. when I finish it. So I'm going to have to look and see if anybody who's like actual good with makeup did this challenge and how they fared. Sure they oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Am I giving her like a weird neck beard kind of thing? Is that where is this the level of quality we've kind of hit today? Just try and blend it, something like that. I don't know. Let's try one of the darker colors and see if we can't get something better than this. Oh, this poor brush. This poor brush. Oh, you guys. I'm crying on the inside for this brush. And to be fair, there is a, are you serious? Do you not want to, you'll go onto my skin. What is wrong? Why don't you want to go onto the paper? Little makeups. Okay. That isn't working. Maybe it's working for you guys. That is not working for this gal. So I'm gonna give all that a chance to dry. And I think for now, I'm gonna go ahead and use my own personal lip stain and just marker that sucker in. Oh, hey, that actually, easiest part of the whole thing was the lip stain. Bam, done. And then I think what I'm gonna do, let this dry, clean out my brushes, and come back to this a little fresher. Just to give you guys an idea of where we're at right now. This is it, y'all. This is where we're at. Check out all that awesome smudge garbage. Her lips are like already the best bit, unfortunately for me. So let's find out in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. I mean, the same episode of what I'm doing here today, whether or not I can salvage this. Alright, y'all. I have a confession to make. I went to check on the makeup brushes to see if they were dry because I cleaned them out. They were not. So, of course, where did I go? I went back to Dollar Tree. Picked up a pencil sharpener. I picked up some brow powder. I picked up some liquid eyeliner. And I also picked up 2 more brushes. So, if you see things you are unfamiliar with, like I didn't introduce them, that is why. So, you guys must think I literally live at Dollar Tree. That's basically the truth. Let's check out this brow powder. It comes with the seriously tiniest brush. I don't think I'm going to use that because, you know, I know better or whatever. So what have we got? I went and I picked up a couple of other brushes. So I'm going to try. Oh man, this stuff like does not stick to the paper at all. I wonder if I should just be dousing this with hairspray or something, try to act as like a fixative. And I couldn't find any smaller brushes. So I guess, what's smaller? I guess this is kind of smaller. This is actually, again, one of mine. You guys saw it earlier. Nothing has changed. Let's try this brow powder. Not using the brow powder brush. And I really just want to, like, basically be able to add some shadow. And it just seems like that is such an impossible dream because this is paper, and I don't think we're gonna be able to get too many more layers on it. And then when I go to clean my brush, there's like apparently a load of brush powder in my brush. So what I think I might have to do is hairspray it. So I'm gonna see if I can go dig that up. All right, this is going to be the most expensive product of the evening. This is the hairspray that my mom said I could use to seal this, which is actually not Dollar Tree, for sure. So I'm gonna go into a bathroom and spray that, and then I'll return. Or I mean, I can totally spray it in a bathroom. All right, so let's see if this works as a fixative. When I was a girl, this is what my mom would use on like my chalk drawings. So it is starting to buckle a little bit from the water. Definitely has a perfumey aroma. And I'm just gonna give this a chance to dry before I get back to it by throwing more makeup at the problem. All right, so this has appeared to have dried. Let's do a cotton ball test. Okay, it is actually, I mean, you can still get some pickup, but it does seem like it's mostly sealed it, which is really, I feel like, all that I could possibly expect from it. So I'm gonna go in, I guess I wanna do her hair, and I have some really cool, like coppery tones, like those. And then I have some over here in this, but the thing is, I don't really want her hair to be metallic. That's kind of a weird look in my opinion, but we're just gonna go with it. We're just gonna roll with it. So I will start putting away some of these other palettes, at least for now. Make room, make room. And I kind of think maybe this is that Paula Dorf palette. This is probably, honestly, the nicest palette I own for this project. But I paid like hardly anything because I got it at TJ Maxx-A-Rooney. So I only feel a little weird about using it for this. So I'm going to use my Dollar Tree Wet n Wild brush. And oh my gosh, there's like no color to that. It's kind of pretty though, because it's just like a very light nude shimmer. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do all of her hair like that.